don't need to turn yours on.
All good. I always do that.
Worse than.
Yeah, so leave that.
Yeah.
Mumbling under my breath over. Yeah, I replaced the battery.
Brian, yep, Terry.
Okay. What will be again?
We got several changes. The agenda is ongoing. The first change will be, they're going to table under old business the second and third motions in terms of the personnel attendance and the longevity incentives, those will be tabled. And then under new business, I am going to add letter F, youth prevention suicide policy, as a discussion item. And then everything else will just move down one. So FMLA is now G, prearranged absences are H, certified staffing action is I. I also need to change the first motion under certified staffing. We will be approving the hiring of Chelsea Eads, but she is going to be approved as a long-term sub temporarily.
Okay.
That's the only change I have in the agenda.
What was the new F again, please?
Youth prevention suicide policy. And then, I don't know how I forgot this. Letter J, we're going to add J, which is adjournment.
Oh, we'll be here all night.
I apologize for that oversight. So we need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So our agenda for the evening is set. The next item on our list to do is the approval of the previous minutes. I think we can do these in one motion. So the motion is that the Board of Education approves the minutes of the regular Board of Education meeting from January 17th, 2022, and the minutes of the special Board of Education meeting in February 8th, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Moving on to our consent agenda. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, no, we have to, roll call.
Discussion.
Yeah, well, is there any discussion on that? Roll call.
Hewelson,
Yes.
Lucky,
Yes.
Wilken,
Yes.
Stanhope,
Yes.
Swett,
Yep.
Helms. Yeah.
Yes.
Public comments? Is there anyone else that signed up? Wendy? Tori, do you guys want to talk?
Okay, my only thing I wanted to say is in regards to the incentives attendance for the teachers, it might be looked at as for some teachers as more of a way to save money on subs than an actual incentive. So I just wanted to bring that up as a thought.
That's an interesting take on that, something we hadn't looked at, so thank you. Good news from around the district.
North side, I just wanted to point out, I always like pointing out what makes Morrison great. Someone, as often happens at Northside, someone came in and wrote us a check for $100 for the milk fund for kids to drink milk. It happens quite often where people just make anonymous donations to the school. And it's one of the great things about the town is they're always willing just to take care of the kids, always.
Jeremy, or Mr. Cassis, sorry.
I do not have any additionals other than the ones that were placed in there. I did want to point out, though, I know that the PTO had stopped by a couple times earlier in the week to pick up order forms for the butt cakes, and then they came back later and let us know that they had sold over 2,500. So then now they're worrying about picking them up. But
A lot of bunking.
I just want to let everyone know our girls' basketball season for our 7th and 8th grade wrapped up with our conference tournament. We held that in Morrison this last weekend, and just wanted to also thank the high school for letting us use their gym for our 8th grade tournament. We had 7th grade girls in our gym, big gym, 8th grade girls at the high school, and some 5th and 6th grade games going on in our small gym because it was our year, and it just worked out where we were hosting all of those tournaments at the same time. So it went real well. So thank you, high school.
I had a couple students that I wanted to recognize for their weekend achievements and such. We had a couple wrestlers competed in the state tournament, Nathan Schaefer and Caden White. Both made it down there. Got a couple wins for them down there. Our boys swimming, which actually co-ops with Sterling High School. Sterling High School was the team sectional champs. We had Skylar Drolema was part of the first place 200-yard medley relay team and first place 200-yard freestyle relay. And Skylar also finished 4th in the 100-yard butterfly. And then our Scholastic Bowl finished 4th place at the Masonic sectional tournament. And that's Aaron Freeman, Mark Cyphers, Blaine Williams, Zayden Boonstra, Rowan Oaken, Dylan Anderson, and Lisa Hardesty. So they all went on this weekend.
Thank you, Joe. You have your finance and facility reports in your board packet. We are trying to light a fire under our architect to help us deal with the heating and cooling system at the junior high, which is becoming much more of an issue than we anticipated prior to this year. So we're trying to get moving on that. Other than that, you have your expenditures, your comparisons, those types of things in terms of the budget. Our enrollment report, we are at 982 students. We're up 6 students from last month, and we are up 17 students from this time last year. So good news, we have more people coming. I actually, without divulging too much personal information, got my hair cut this weekend, and the woman who cut my hair is moving to Morrison next year with 3 kids. So I had a pleasant conversation with her. So good to hear. So we're always welcoming new families. Mr. Schaefer, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I actually didn't submit anything this week. Last week, I got the opportunity to attend the Illinois Digital Educators Alliance Conference. It's their annual conference. Held this year was held in person for the first time in a couple of years. I spent most of my time at this conference this year attending sessions and really working with people that had expertise in some of the areas that issues that we were having over the last month in terms of cybersecurity and things like that. So I met a lot of great people, some that are nationally recognized and work directly with departments of Homeland Security and things like that on cybersecurity. I'm really, really happy that I got to meet those people and kind of get some ideas and things that I think we can do better in our environment. So I'll be having some people coming into the district and visiting us and speaking with us and looking at our network infrastructure and things and hopefully be able to make some improvements and get us where we need to be if we're not already there.
Thanks, Frank. Okay, moving on to old business. First item is the Sauk Valley Community College Impact Program. Mr. Bielema has given us some information on that prior to this, but tonight we are pleased to welcome Emily Bittner, Morrison alumnus, to give you guys a little bit more information on that. So, and she has an assistant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're fine, right? Wherever you want. So,
Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Emily Bittner. I am the Impact Program Coordinator at South Valley Community College. As Mr. Vance said, I'm also a proud graduate from Morrison High School, graduated 2007. I went on to go to SOC. I got my associates in 2008, and I got my bachelor's in 2010. So I had a lot of wonderful opportunities at Morrison. I was a group president student my senior year, which allowed me to get my associates 1 year after high school graduation. So I am here to talk about the Impact Program, which is an opportunity for every student within Sauk Valley Community College's district to earn their tuition and fees for up to 3 years. This is a brand new program. I'm really excited about it. We have been working and developing this program for close to 4 years now. I've been at college since 2018, and they have been talking about it since then. So we have had the opportunity to gather our educators, our community leaders, our business leaders, and talk about some of our regional problems. So as you know, Northwest Illinois is seeing a mass exodus of people in our communities. And so when we don't have people in our communities, we don't have the tax dollars to help fund our schools and our roads and our police and our fire. And so at the college, we looked around and we gathered all of our community leaders and we're like, how can we help fix this? And so we have developed the Impact Program as a way to address some of our regional problems that we have here. So the Impact Program is modeled after a Promise program, which is a program that is in the United States that allows students to earn tuition and fees to go to college. And so there are over 300 of these Promise programs in the United States. And we have the opportunity to study these programs and to gather information on those programs. And so based on that, we've been able to develop this program to be what we think is going to be the best for the Sauk Valley area. So SOC oversees 6 counties. They are located on that handout in that bottom corner, all the way up from Carroll, all the way down to a little sliver of Henry. And so there are 17 area high schools that feed into Sauk Valley Community College. And so the Impact Program will allow every student in Sauk's district to earn their tuition fees for up to 3 years. We ask that students do 5 things in order for them to be eligible to earn their tuition and fees at Sauk. We ask that they would sign up for the program by September 1st of their freshman year. If a student signs up for the program and they decide that they don't want to go to Sauk or they have an opportunity that allows them a full ride scholarship, they are not bound to attend Sauk just because they are in the Impact Program. If anything, what it gets our kids thinking about is what does life look like for them after high school graduation? It gets them thinking about what careers they want to have, what skills they need to be successful in those careers. So by having that sign-up date being at the beginning of their freshman year, we're really hoping to create a college-going mindset and eventually a college completion mindset. The next criteria that we have is that we ask that students volunteer 25 hours of community service each year that they're in high school, for a total of 100 hours by the time they graduate. Students do have the opportunity to volunteer those hours in a 12-month period. It begins June 1st after 8th grade promotion, and it runs all the way until May 31st of that freshman year, and then the subsequent years after that. And what that does is that allows students to have a reasonable goal to complete those volunteer hours. So if I do my quick mental math, that is about 2 hours a month that students would need to complete to perform in order to complete their 25 hours each year. Additionally, it allows students that are really busy with sports and extracurriculars and jobs to have the opportunity to complete their hours over the summer months. So students have the opportunity to actually complete those 25 hours before the school year begins. We love to partner with our local nonprofits, our community organizations, our churches, our schools, our service clubs like Kiwanis and Rotary. We have a lot of great service opportunities in the South Valley area. And this program and these partnerships allow us to connect our kids to our community. When I was in high school, I was very active in youth club. And so I can tell you that I had a lot of volunteering experience while I was in high school, as well as some leadership opportunities. I would not be the person I am today if I did not have those opportunities. The next criteria that we have for students complete high school is they graduate either on time or early. If the student does choose to graduate early, they do need to make sure that they have 1,500 hours completed by the time they graduate. The fourth requirement is that we ask that students apply for a scholarship. So the criteria is to apply for a scholarship. It is not that they have to receive a scholarship. And what we're doing with this is we're teaching these students how to secure additional resources. So at South Valley Community College, we know that 50% of the students that come to SOC will transfer on. And the likelihood that that 4-year school has an earned tuition program is very low. So if we can teach them the skills on how to secure those additional resources, we can hopefully help them minimize the amount of student loan that they have to take out. And then our last requirement is that we ask you to complete the FAFSA, which is also a high school graduation requirement in the state of Illinois. So if students do those 5 things, they are eligible to earn 100% of their tuition and fees at SOC for up to 3 years. This is a brand new program. We are rolling this out. This is our first year that we will be recruiting all 17 area high schools. We are starting that with our current 8th graders. So they will be the graduating class of 2026. And that enrollment period will begin in April of this year. So be sure I am slotted to also talk to the students as well as be present at the registration here at night as well as the registration for these students. That's the opportunity that we have to program. I would love to entertain any additional questions that the board.
Do you provide them with a list of places that they could do the community service? A lot of students might.
Yeah, that's a really great question. So we're actually in the middle of developing a mobile application which will serve as a central hub of communication for all students in actual learning. That will allow people also allow students to create an account where they can then sign up for the available volunteer opportunities, fill out their volunteer requirements, and then also streamline the verification process. Great. So we do have a tiered tuition program for those students because we do have research that shows that when you have a program like this in your community, that it is impacts population. And so we don't want those students to be at a disadvantage just because of the deadline. So what we can offer is if a student signs up during the sophomore year, they're up to 75%, they're doing their 50%, and so as far as the volunteer opportunities go, instead of having those 100 hours, they would have to correlate with the percentage that they're earning. So it still is 25 hours each year, so depending on. And that also happens, so let's say we have a freshman, right, we all have freshmen. Sometimes they don't know what they want to do, they don't know where they're going to go. Even if you have a student in the school,
I heard on the radio today, Illinois is the #2 state in the nation for citizens moving out. We're up to #4.
Yeah.
So,
So not only will it attract population of students, we need to get more folks that will populate. That's what we do as well, because they don't have to qualify for schools. So not only do you have population, but you also have.
any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
tell you what I'll do. Emily, I did have a question. Do they have to be enrolled full-time?
Full-time at SOC,
Yeah, and do they have to take a full class load?
they do not, no. So they can be full-time, they can be part-time, they can take one class. The only caveat is that they have a
3-year
3-year time.
window to do it?
Yeah. And that will start as early as the summer semester after graduation. So, by the time you're I really encourage so much about
Thank you again. All right, we're moving on to old business item B, staffing plan. As we mentioned, when we approved our agenda, we are tabling the second and third motions. The only motion we have concerning this agenda item is that the motion is the Board of Education approves the updated non-certified personnel salary schedule as presented.
All right, do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
More discussion?
All right, so just for clarification purposes, and this will be posted later this evening, it is a 2-year salary increase based on the job description or job posting, if you will. Current employees making above the new base minimum for their position will get an automatic 3% increase on their hourly rate. Any current staff member making below the new base rate, we put at the base rate and then given a service credit of 2 cents per year for time served, or not time served, sorry. Is that a Freudian slip? Sorry, no. 2 cents per year for service to the district. This is going to be for this year and then for next year, and then we'll revisit other items that have been on our agenda from previous years at a later date. Taking into consideration everything we've talked to you and questions about what you're voting on? All right, we will need a roll call motion, or not roll call vote. Roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, item C, I'm going to read this motion and then ask that somebody second it, and then I'll tell you why we're doing it. So the motion is that the Board of Education approves the non-resident tuition waiver as presented.
Well,
So moved.
Second.
So in the December board meeting, you voted to approve the non-resident tuition waiver for any current staff members who would like to come to the district. On one of the many pages I have to fill out, way in the back, there's a little tiny thing that says you have to file it within 14 days. Well, it's Christmas, and I tried to file it when we came back from break, and the 14 days had expired, so they said just approve it again and send it in. So it was a oversight on my part, but we just a formality to pull for it again.
I think we have to do a roll call.
I would do a roll call, yes.
Roll call, Don.
Whit?
Yep.
Helms? Yes. Stevenson?
Yes.
Lucky?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
Stanhoff?
Yes.
Ridley?
Yes.
Thank you. Item D, high school and Southside dishwasher purchase. I think we should take these individually since it's money. The motion is the Board of Education approves the purchase of a CMA EST 44 dishwasher at Morrison High School for the price of $11,318.00.
All right, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We will be using working cash funds to pay for this, if anyone was wondering about that.
Roll call.
Helms?
Yes.
Stevenson?
Yes.
Lucky?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
Stanhoff?
Yes.
Whit?
Yep.
Ridley?
Yes.
Next motion is that the Board of Education approves the purchase of a CMA 180S dishwasher at Southside Elementary for the price of $7,771.00.
Do I have a motion for this?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion about the? All right, roll call.
Stevenson?
Yes.
Lucky?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
Stanhoff?
Yes.
Whit?
Yep.
Helms? Yes. Ridley.
Yes.
All right, item E, return to learn plan updates changes. This is a discussion item. This was shared with you. This is modeled after similar proposals that other districts are putting out. It will adopt a mask optional policy with metrics that could be applied in the event that numbers spike and temporary return to masking would be necessary. I would say that our numbers or our metrics are a little bit different than some other districts, but I'm open to suggestions as to what the board feels like. In response, we had the survey that went out to parents earlier. We had 425 responses. 74.2% of respondents had no concern with the current voluntary masking policy. 12.1% were somewhat comfortable, and 13.7% were very concerned. The other question on that was, should the state mandates be reinstated? How would you like the district to proceed? This might be a moot point moving forward. 59.7% would prefer that we continue the mask optional policy until the matter is permanently resolved by the courts. 25.7% continue with the mask optional policy, but with metrics to return to masking if COVID positive cases reach certain levels. And 14.6% responded that they would like to immediately re-implement the mandate regardless of if it requires a return to masking. So a quick numerical or addition, 85.4% of the responses were in favor of some continuation of a mask optional policy. The question before the board is, do we want to attach metrics to it that would require or allow for us to go back, I'm not saying require, in certain cases, masks to be put on, or stay with a completely mask optional policy. Again, we are not voting on this tonight. This is the opportunity for board members to provide input and how you would like to proceed.
One thing I think it's important, Scott, as we discussed on the level 1, 2, 3 on here, if you look at our actual results over the past year, it'd be very difficult to get to that level 3.
I was looking at that
So,
same thing, yes.
It would be, let's say catastrophic, right?
So
It would be,
can we just, for the purpose of people who haven't seen it yet,
Right.
just kind of do a quick synopsis. So there'd be 3 levels of transmission. Level 1 would be considered low level, and that would be when the number of student and staff positive cases are below 7%. Level 2 would be medium transmission, 7.5 to 10%. And level 3, anything higher than 10% in a building or a classroom. Mitigations under level 1, masking is recommended but will not be required. Maintain physical distancing, hand washing, facility cleaning and disinfection will be continued. Exclusion based on illness, non-COVID symptoms, 24 hours fever-free, what it currently has been for most everyone. If they're symptomatic, they can do a test to stay. Negative test will allow the staff and students to stay. We provide an alternative diagnosis, or they could stay home for 5 days. In the event that someone would need to quarantine, we would follow the current recommendations for the health department, and we would allow, or not allow, we would have available diagnostic testing for students and staff, i.e. the test to stay. Level 2 mitigations that could be, it is not required, targeted mask usage, perhaps in a class or a building if numbers got too heavy or too high. Everything else stays the same. Level 3, again, we're talking 10% of a classroom, or greater than 10%, or of a building. Possible require or mandate masking inside the district facilities. Everything else stays the same. Physical distancing, exclusion, test to stay. Again, this is what other districts in our area are looking at as well. You have the results of the survey. Questions, comments, concerns?
So
We like it, we don't like it,
my understanding of contact tracing, would we implement a contact tracing or would we?
We would not implement contact tracing.
That would just be a mess, and that's a burden that I was,
Yes, no.
didn't want to put on the schools, if not necessary. That's,
Would things change if the law changes?
In the event that the law changes, whether it's rewritten and voted on by the state legislature, or that would be, we would have to come back and have that discussion.
Good.
And our stance is we follow the law. But I'm hoping that with the JCAR statement last week, that I think we can, hopefully we can move forward. I think everyone can agree it's much better without masks.
Well, and I do believe that we need to have local control.
Correct.
I really do.
Well, it'd be nice if they make that determination at the legislative level.
I'm somewhat fearful of some kind of penalty being implemented by the governor. Now, fearful is one word.
Yeah.
I understand why you would feel that way. I'm fearful of a lot of things, which is why I would just say we take it day by day.
the invigoration of the classes, and I think the teachers attest to this, kids out their masks. I'd be willing to take some financial hit, being that the classroom atmosphere is better, and that is worth it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that'll come to fruition. I think there's enough people in this state that are ready to move forward. So I'm not saying it won't happen, but I think the writing is on the wall. I think Springfield is at least reading it, if not understanding it. So, but I don't want to say that and then have him come back out.
Right.
I can take things day by day.
Makes sense.
So move forward as is. Would you like me to change things, change numbers, drop metrics?
I think the metrics look good. I mean, I guess my question is how enforceable are they? And if they can't be enforced and people don't follow them, is it worth it to have them there? I mean, is my only question.
I would look at the metrics as the metrics are in place so kids stay in school. Yeah,
Sure.
And if that's how we have the conversation with, listen, our numbers are high, health department may come in and
Shut it
officially
down.
shut us down if we don't do something. I think when we have that conversation, some people would be accepting of that.
Okay.
And it's not a permanent thing, it would be a temporary thing. It's
Okay.
not, you're on for the rest of the year. And I could add something like
I would
that.
just say contact the attorney, make sure that we have the ability to enforce that if we're going to put this into our plan.
Right.
I'll send it to him and get some feedback on it.
Yeah. Plan to get it enforced.
If you think about anything, please feel free to reach out. Okay. Summer driver's education, this is something that we do every year. Mr. Bartos asked that I submit it to the board for you guys to look over. Mr. Veland, did you want to add anything to it?
No, nothing. I don't have anything to add.
I think we had pretty good turnout last year, didn't we, in the summer?
For the last 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
We've started this up, and it's worked out real well for those students that have birthdays that, so they can, but basically having the 9-month permit and so forth, so they get their license at their 16th birthday. Having an option during the summer months has been helpful for those students especially, and help clear up class loads for the fall and spring.
Yeah, that's backlog. Well,
It's worked out well.
and the number, I think it was like 14 or 15 or something like that. And he didn't have any trouble getting that the last couple of years.
No, not at all.
I mean, that's my,
All right, moving on to new business, the 22-23 calendar. This is essentially a mirror of this current year's calendar. I was going to read some of the highlights if I can find it again. Where did it go?
Come on.
Where did it go? I just was looking at it. Oh, there it is. Key dates, first day for teachers would be Monday, August 15th. First day of students would be August 17th, which is a Wednesday. We would do early dismissals that week, that is Fair Week. Christmas break would be December 22nd to January 4th. spring break, March 27th to March 31st. Easter break, we take Good Friday and the Monday after Easter off. Last day of student attendance would be May 23rd. Last day for teachers would be May 24th. The teachers were given several options. This was the choice.
The only thing that I'm gonna ask,
Okay.
because actually I didn't realize the students had school today, and I think it was last week.
Make it bigger. You want me to-
Well, I look at the last time that they had a day off, well, and I'm thinking about giving the teachers a break, okay? It was Martin Luther King Day, and then they're not off again until the end of March. That's a long.
I do ask them.
I'm not saying
I
you
know.
don't. I'm not saying you don't, but I'm just thinking, can we do something else than taking that holiday away?
Okay.
I would like to see.
I work
something
anyway,
else.
so it's.
And I'm not, I don't know. I just struggle with taking a holiday away from them.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Unless they're saying they don't care, but I think they do care. Because I did hear.
When you weigh in on the vacation, that's an interesting one. You have a percentage of teachers who don't want spring break.
Really?
They'd rather do that early.
Well, and I understand that. It's spring, they want out.
Yes.
And then you're gonna, well, we don't have the calendar yet because I also was concerned about having a board meeting on a holiday.
We will not do that again.
Okay.
I will make sure I double check, so.
Okay, thank
no,
you.
No problem. Okay. We had a request to release of old VHS tapes. I can't find the list. I just have the letter in there, so.
Well, I saw the letter, I didn't see a list of them.
I checked my email. Mr. Greenwald, do you have a list?
No, I have not seen this.
They're all from the library.
Yes,
I
they're old
understand.
VHS tapes, and I'm not sure we have a VHS player. We might have a handful of them.
Yeah,
I have one at home.
We have several.
We do,
I have one.
we do, but
You want to watch those old Disney movies? I got the hookup.
that's right.
I got
Up
one.
until
You want me
last
to
year, my
change
dad
them
had a
all?
Betamax, so.
You want me to change all the DVDs, I will.
So I'll get that list, and before, I don't think it'll be an issue, but I just would rather have the list in front of us before we move forward with that. Any concerns with that, or are you okay with, you just want to, okay. Item D, board retreat. I believe there's support for this. If there's not, if there is, I will reach out to Laura Martinez, who was our regional representative for the state Illinois Association of School Boards, and get some potential dates and send it out to everybody. Okay. Board committees. We have sort of gotten off track with our committees. I believe it is important for us to get back on track. We have 3 committees. Those are 2 of which descriptions are put in your board packet. Finance and Facility Committee. There's purpose, what they will do. The membership of that committee, meetings will be held prior to the regularly scheduled board meeting unless otherwise noted. So we would meet at 5:30, from 5:30 to 6. If we needed to meet longer, we could adjust that and meet either another day or move our meeting time up. And then the second one is the Policy and Procedure Committee, which would meet, as needed with at least 1 meeting per quarter. And then we also have, I can't remember. We have a negotiation committee too, but we don't need that one.
Strategic.
What about the curriculum?
Community.
I was on the curriculum
That's-
a couple weeks ago. Curriculum?
Yes, you're on the, curriculum was the one I forgot. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's very similar, it meets once,
That's when
Meets
it's
as
needed,
needed.
when needed, yeah.
Is this
which is
also,
why I didn't include it.
That's-
are they open to public as well? I know before
For
we had.
public meetings,
Public,
yes.
or I mean, members are also, 'cause before we used to have.
Yes, there are some that are on, that do have parent participation,
Okay.
public participation. And they are public meetings,
Right,
so the public can come and attend.
yep, okay.
So what I would like to do is I will send out tomorrow a sign-up sheet, so to speak, and have each board member hopefully sign up for at least 1 committee.
Sure.
And negotiations is another one, so we technically have 4, but negotiations is not needed until we'll start talking about that probably the first of next year, or the start of the school year next year. Unless you want to start early. Okay.
Did you intend to skip the insurance?
Oh, no.
Oh, the insurance, yes.
Thank you very much. Let's go back up. District insurance renewal. The motion is the Board of Education approves the 22-23 district insurance renewal as presented.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I think there's a copy in your, so,
Shouldn't this have been under good news for the district?
the reason why Mr. Ridley is saying it's good news, our insurance renewal last year was 24%. We did switch agents. We are still with Blue Cross Blue Shield, but our agent, we made a switch and was able to negotiate a first renewal from 14% down to 8.3%. You can see there the rates, single rate is going from $716.36 a month to $779.57. And then the coverage is essentially the same.
That's great.
That's what we're gonna do.
It's not too often you get excited about $1 million expense, but given the massive increase we got prior to this year, you said 8%, I'm like, good, we're good. You can stop talking. I honestly can't believe it's 8%. Questions?
No.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Lucky,
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Danforth,
Yes.
Witt,
Yep.
Helms,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Ridley.
Yes.
All right, now we're going back to our youth prevention suicide policy. This is a draft form. This was developed by our SEL committee and addresses an unfortunate events, or makes it policy if in the unfortunate event we have someone who does have a suicide attempt. Interested to hear what you think, Gary.
No, I think it's a good plan. We don't have in regards to our overall plan, do you have a cohesive SEL plan?
We do have an SEL plan that we did approve earlier this year.
Okay.
I can get you a copy of it if you know.
No, I just didn't remember it.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was very good.
We've been working towards increasing our SEL response. Mrs. Royer chairs that committee, and they are trying to be as proactive as possible. Very excited for some of the things that they've got
Yes.
going on.
I like it.
All right. FMLA request. The motion is the Board of Education approves the FMLA request of employee number 3696.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
This is a request for 4 weeks for medical situation.
Do we need a roll call?
No, I don't think so.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
The motion is, letter H, the motion is the Board of Education approves 2 additional prearranged absence days for student number 28000017.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Certified staffing, we do have again, this is an amended motion that the Board of Education approves the hiring of Chelsea Eads as a long-term substitute at Northside Elementary School effective February 1, 2022.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Roll call.
Helms,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Lucky,
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Danforth,
Yes.
Witt,
Yep.
Ridley.
Yes.
And the last motion is that the Board of Education approves the retirement and resignation of Christine Tickler as a certified special education teacher at Morrison Junior High School effective March 1st, 2022.
There are a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
I just need to ask, one thing. Retiring in March, in the middle of the year, or it's not at the end?
Yes, she's been on extended leave for,
That's fine.
Good.
normally that, in years past, you wouldn't see that, but with the way the law is written, as soon as they turn 55 and are eligible to retire, they can retire that day. They don't
Okay.
have to wait till the end of the year.
So they didn't have to give a notice? Isn't there a certain date? have
If
to
they
give
were
notice?
getting a 6% retirement incentive, this staff member is not.
Okay.
Let's do a roll call.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lucky,
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Samhon,
Yes.
Whit,
Yep.
Helms,
Yes.
Rubley.
Yes. Any other business?
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, everybody.
All right, that's signed.
I do too.